I signed my soul away the night I agreed to marry a man I hated. His name was carved into every skyscraper in the city, whispered in boardrooms with equal tarts of reverence and fear. Damien Cross didn't ask for things, he took them. And on a rainy October night, standing in the marble lobby of his penthouse with mascara-stained cheeks and nowhere left to run, he took me. 3 years, he said, his voice cold enough to frost the glass between us. You play the dutiful wife. I get what I need, then you disappear. I should have said no, should have walked away, but desperation makes liars of us all, and I had a secret that would destroy us both. If you already feel the pull, if you need to know what happens next, let me know in the comments, because once you hear what led me to his door, there's no going back. 6 weeks earlier. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. White envelope, expensive paper, the kind that screamed old money and older threats. I didn't need to open it to know what it said. I'd been running from this debt for 3 years, ever since my father's empire collapsed and left me holding a bill I couldn't pay. $2 million. Blood money, they called it. Money borrowed from people who didn't believe in second chances. My hands shook as I tore it open. Final notice. 30 days. 30 days to come up with $2 million or lose everything. My mother's medical care, the small art gallery I'd built from nothing, maybe even my life. I crumpled the letter and threw it across my shoebox apartment. It landed near the window, where rain streaked the glass like tears. That's when my phone rang. Unknown number. Is Isla Monroe? The voice was smooth, masculine, efficient. Who's asking? Someone who can solve your problem. My blood went cold. I don't have a problem. You have 30 days and no solutions. Mr. Cross would like to extend an alternative. Damien Cross. The name hit me like a slap. I'd met him exactly once, 2 years ago, at a charity gala I'd only attended because my gallery was sponsoring a silent auction. He'd stood across the room in a black tuxedo that probably cost more than my rent, dark eyes tracking me like I was prey. We'd spoken for exactly 4 minutes. He'd offered to buy one of my paintings. I declined. He smiled, a slow, dangerous thing that made my stomach flip, and said, "You'll regret that." I thought he meant the money. I was wrong. "I'm not interested in whatever Mr. Cross is offering," I said, voice tight. "He'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. His office. Don't be late, Miss Monroe." The line went dead. I almost didn't go, but at 7:45 p.m. the next night, I found myself standing outside Cross Tower, a 90-story monument to wealth and power that dominated the skyline like a dark god. The elevator ride to the top floor felt like ascending to judgment. His assistant, a woman with perfect posture and a smile that didn't reach her eyes, led me down a hallway lined with abstract art worth more than entire neighborhoods. She stopped at massive double doors. "He's expecting you." The doors opened, and there he was. Damien Cross stood with his back to me, silhouetted against floor-to-ceiling windows that framed the city like he owned it, which, in many ways, he did. At 34, he'd built an empire that spanned real estate, tech, and investments that made billionaires nervous. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with black hair that looked like he'd run his hands through it too many times. When he finally turned, his face was all sharp angles and cold beauty, the kind of handsome that felt dangerous. Dark eyes found mine. "Miss Monroe." His voice was velvet over steel. "You came." I don't have much choice, do I? A ghost of a smile. "No, you don't." He moved to his desk, black marble, minimalist, powerful, and gestured to the chair across from him. I sat. He didn't.
Instead, he circled me slowly, like a predator assessing prey. I felt his gaze on my neck, my shoulders, the nervous way and gripped my purse. Your father owed dangerous people $2 million. They want their money, you don't have it. If you brought me here to state the obvious, I brought you here to offer a solution. He leaned against his desk, arms crossed. Marry me. The words hung in the air like smoke. I laughed, actually laughed. You're insane. I'm practical. He leaned back against his desk, arms crossed. I need a wife. You need $2 million and protection from people who'd rather see you dead than empty-handed. It's a simple transaction. Marriage isn't a transaction. Everything is a transaction, Miss Monroe. His gaze darkened. The question is whether you're desperate enough to accept mine. I stood up, anger flooding my veins. I'm not for sale. Everyone's for sale. He said it so casually, like it was a law of nature. The only variable is price. I turned to leave. Your mother's treatment is expensive. I froze. Stage 3 cancer. Experimental trial. 600,000 so far. Another year of treatment, maybe more. He paused. How long before you have to choose between paying her medical bills and paying your father's debts? Tears burned my eyes, but I didn't turn around. 3 years, he said. You live here, we attend events together, you play the role. After 3 years, I pay your debt, set up a trust for your mother's care, and we divorce quietly. You walk away with $5 million and your freedom. Before you judge what I did next, before you decide whether Isla made the right choice, tell me, what would you have done? Comment below. Would you take the deal or walk away? I turned slowly. Why? I asked, my voice cracked. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes, something almost human. Then it was gone. My grandfather's will requires me to be married before my 35th birthday. That's 6 weeks from now. If I'm not, controlling interest to the company goes to my cousin, a man who'd destroy everything my family built. He straightened. I need someone I can control. Someone with no connections, no leverage, no reason to want more than I'm offering. You mean someone desperate. I mean someone smart enough to recognize an opportunity. He pulled a folder from his desk and held it out. The contract. Read it. Think about it. You have 24 hours to decide. I took the folder with shaking hands. And if I say no? His expression went glacial. Then I wish you luck with your creditors. You'll need it. I didn't sleep that night. I read the contract 17 times. It was airtight, clinical, cold. Every clause designed to protect him, control me, ensure I understood exactly what I was, a purchased solution to his problem. Conjugal rights waived, separate bedrooms, public affection required, private distance mandated, no romantic entanglements outside the marriage, no press without approval. At the bottom, his signature, black ink, aggressive slant, and a blank line for mine. I thought about my mother, her frail hands in mine during her last treatment, the way she smiled and said, "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." I thought about the men my father owed, their cold calls, their veiled threats, the way one of them had followed me home last week. I thought about my gallery, my freedom, my soul, and then I picked up a pen. The wedding was a spectacle. St. Patrick's Cathedral, 500 guests who didn't know me, a Vera Wang dress I was fitted for in silence while Damien conducted business calls in the next room. I looked beautiful. I felt like a ghost. Damien stood at the altar in a black tuxedo, expression unreadable. When I reached him, he took my hand, his touch startlingly warm, and leaned close. "Don't look so terrified," he murmured. "You're supposed to be in love with me." "I'm a terrible actress." "Then learn quickly." This ceremony blurred. words I didn't mean, vows that tasted like ash. When the priest said, "You may kiss the bride," Damien cupped my face with surprising gentleness. His eyes met mine, a warning and a promise. Then he kissed me. It was supposed to be for show. It felt like drowning. His mouth was firm, possessive, achingly thorough. Heat flooded my veins. For one breathless moment, I forgot this was fake, forgot the contract, forgot everything but the way his thumb brushed my jaw. When he pulled back, his eyes were darker. "Convincing," he said quietly. I couldn't speak. He tucked my hand into the crook of his arm and led me down the aisle. We were married, and I had 3 years to survive him. The penthouse became my prison. 12,000 square feet of marble and glass and cold perfection. My bedroom was on the opposite end from his, an entire wing between us. We had rules.
Breakfast together, 7 a.m. sharp. Dinner if he was home, which was rare. Public events twice a week, minimum. I wore designer dresses and his grandmother's diamonds and smiled until my face hurt. At night, I was alone. He worked constantly, 16, 18-hour days. Sometimes I'd wake at 3 a.m. and see light under his office door, hear his voice on conference calls with Tokyo, London, Dubai. He was building something or running from something. I couldn't tell which. The first month passed like a dream. We barely spoke beyond logistics. He was polite, distant, controlled. At events, he'd place his hand on my lower back, lean in to whisper something that looked intimate but was usually, "Smile more, Johnson's watching." I hated him. I hated that I noticed the way his jaw tightened when he was stressed, the way he took his coffee black, no sugar, scalding hot, the way he loosened his tie the moment we got home, like he was shedding armor. I hated that sometimes, late at night, I'd hear him playing piano, sad, beautiful music that made my chest ache. And I hated that part of me wanted to know who he was beneath the ice. If you're feeling that pull, that dangerous curiosity about Damien, you're not alone. Drop a heart in the comments if you're already hooked. Everything changed the night of the Harrison Gala. It was our 8th week of marriage. I wore emerald silk that Damien had chosen himself, his eyes lingering on me for a beat too long before he looked away. "You'll do," he said. "Your compliments are overwhelming." Something almost like amusement flickered across his face. "Careful, wife, someone might think you're developing a personality." Heaven forbid. He opened the car door. "Try to enjoy yourself tonight. It's for charity." The gala was at a mansion in the Hamptons, old money dripping from every chandelier. We mingled, played our roles, smiled until I wanted to scream. Then I saw her across the room, a woman in red, mid-40s, beautiful in a cold way. She watched Damien like a hawk watches prey. When our eyes met, she smiled and walked straight toward us. "Damien," her voice was honey and poison. "How domestic you look." His entire body went rigid. "Victoria." The temperature dropped 20 degrees. "Aren't you going to introduce me to your lovely bride?" Victoria's eyes raked over me. "Though I suppose she knows all about him. You do tell your wife everything, don't you?" "We were just leaving." Damien's hand tightened on my waist. "Oh, but we've only just reconnected." She stepped closer. "Tell me, Mrs. Cross, did he mention he was engaged to me 4 years ago, or is that one of his little secrets?" The world tilted. I looked at Damien. His face was a mask. "Excuse us," he said, voice lethal.
He practically dragged me outside into the cold October air. We didn't speak until we were in the car, speeding back to the city. "You were engaged," I said finally. "It's not relevant." She made it relevant. His jaw clenched. "Victoria is a ghost. She doesn't exist anymore." "What happened?" "That's not part of our contract. I'm your wife. You're an employee." He turned to me, eyes blazing. "Don't mistake this for something it's not." The words cut deeper than they should have. I turned away, staring at the city lights streaking past. When we got home, I went straight to my room. I didn't cry. I was done crying over men who couldn't feel. But at 2 a.m., I couldn't sleep. I wandered the penthouse in silk pajamas, heading for the kitchen. That's when I heard it. Piano music. Haunting. Broken. I followed the sound to a room I'd never entered, a study lined with books, dominated by a black grand piano. Damien sat at the keys, still wearing his tux, playing something that sounded like goodbye. I should have left. Instead, I stepped inside. "That's beautiful," I said quietly. His hands froze. He didn't turn around. "You should be asleep. So should you." Silence. Then, "This I wrote for her." "Victoria." "What happened?" I asked again, softer this time. He finally looked at me, and the raw pain in his eyes nearly broke me. "She left me 3 days before our wedding, took $20 million and married my business partner. They destroyed me, publicly, financially. I rebuilt, but—" He stopped, swallowed. "I don't trust easily, Isla." It was the first time he'd used my first name. "Is that why you married me?" I moved closer. "Because I can't hurt you?" "Because you won't have the chance." But something in his eyes said he wasn't sure anymore. I sat beside him on the piano bench, close enough to feel his warmth. "Play it again," I whispered. He did, and this time I listened. When he finished, his hand was inches from mine on the keys. Neither of us moved. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Someone easier to hate." My breath caught. His gaze dropped to my mouth. The air between us ignited. "Tell me you feel it too. Tell me you see where this is going. What should Isla do next? Comment below." He kissed me. Not for show this time, not for cameras or contracts. He kissed me like a drowning man breaking the surface. Desperate, consuming, real. I kissed him back. His hands tangled in my hair. Mine gripped his shoulders. The kiss deepened, years of loneliness and need pouring between us. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. "This wasn't part of the deal," I whispered. "No." His thumb traced my lower lip. "It wasn't." "What are we doing?" "Something incredibly stupid." He kissed me again, and this time we didn't stop. 2 weeks after the kiss. Things didn't change overnight. Damien was a fortress, and fortresses don't crumble. They're dismantled brick by careful brick. The morning after our kiss, I woke in my own bed, alone. For a moment, I thought I'd dreamed it. Then I saw a note on my nightstand. "Had to fly to Singapore, back Friday, D." No mention of what happened, no acknowledgement that we'd crossed a line we couldn't uncross. Just business as usual. I crumpled the note, equal parts relieved and devastated. But when I went downstairs for breakfast, there was a single white orchid in a crystal vase on the kitchen island. No card, no explanation, just a flower that hadn't been there yesterday. I touched the petals and allowed myself to hope. He came back 4 days later. I was in the library, a room I'd claimed for my own, filled with first editions and leather chairs that smelled of history. I'd been painting, something I rarely did anymore. The canvas showed a city at night, all dark buildings and distant lights, lonely even when surrounded. "You're talented." I spun around. Damien stood in the doorway, still in his travel clothes, dark jeans, white shirt, leather jacket. He looked tired, devastatingly handsome, uncertain. That last part was new. "I didn't hear you come in," I said. "I didn't want to disturb you." He stepped closer, studying the painting. "Is this how you see the city?" "It's how I saw it before." "Before what?" "Before it started feeling like home." Something flickered in his eyes, hope or fear maybe. He reached out, almost touching my hand, then pulled back. "I thought about you," he said quietly. "In Singapore, during meetings, on the flight back, constantly." My heart hammered. "Damien, I'm not good at this." He ran his hair through his face, frustrated, at talking, at feeling. "Victoria trained me to shut down, to never give anyone the power to hurt me again. I'm not her." "I know. That's what terrifies me." I set down my brush. "What do you want from me?"
I don't know. Honest. Raw. The contract was supposed to keep things simple, clean, but nothing about you is simple, Isla. You're in my head, under my skin, and I don't know how to do this without ruining everything. I moved closer, closing the distance between us. Then let's ruin it together. He caught my hand, threading his fingers through mine. The touch sent electricity up my arm. "I need time," he said, "to learn how to do this right, to not be the man who manipulated you into this marriage. You have time. We have 2 years and 10 months left." A ghost of a smile. "And then what?" "I don't know. Maybe we renegotiate." He pulled me closer until I could feel his warmth, smell his cologne, cedar and something darker. "I'd like that," he whispered. This kiss was different from the first, slower, sweeter, a promise instead of a revelation. When we broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. "Stay with me tonight," he said. "Just sleep. I want you close." "Okay." That night, I fell asleep in his bed, his arm around my waist, his breathing steady against my neck. And for the first time since this began, I felt safe. The slow unraveling. The next 3 months were a dance. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Damien had rules about how to dismantle his own walls. We had breakfast together every morning, but he'd spend the first 15 minutes behind his newspaper, armor in place. Then slowly he'd lower it, ask me about my gallery, my painting, what I dreamed about. I learned he was an insomniac who survived on 4 hours of sleep and too much coffee, that he'd taught himself piano at 12 to escape his father's constant criticism, that his favorite color was the exact shade of blue the ocean turned at twilight, that he'd never said "I love you" to anyone except his grandmother, who died when he was 16. He learned I was afraid of thunderstorms because I'd been alone during one when my father was arrested, that I'd wanted to be an artist, but practical dreams died with practical money, that I sang in the shower badly, and that she reorganized his bookshelves by color, which drove him insane, that I'd never been in love before him. We didn't sleep together, not in that way, not yet, but every night I'd end up in his bed,
and every morning I'd wake wrapped around him like I was afraid he'd disappear. He'd kiss my forehead and whisper, "Good morning, wife," and I'd whisper back, "Good morning, husband," like we meant it. But the outside world didn't stop because we were falling in love. Damien's cousin Marcus started making moves, aggressive ones. "He's challenging the marriage," Damien told me one night, pacing his office like a caged animal. "Says it's fraudulent, a business arrangement, not a real marriage." "Isn't that exactly what it is?" He stopped, turned. "Is that what you think?" "I don't know what I think anymore." He crossed to me, cupped my face. "I think we're as real as we choose to be." "And what do we choose?" "I choose you. Raw, unguarded. Every day, Isla. I choose you." I kissed him then, deep and desperate and full of everything I couldn't say. His hands tangled in my hair, mine fumbled with his shirt buttons. We were all heat and need, and his phone rang. He ignored it. It rang again. "Answer it," I breathed against his mouth. He cursed, pulled back, grabbed the phone. "What?" His expression went cold. "When?" Pause. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up, already moving. "What happened?" "There's been a break-in at your gallery." The gallery was destroyed. Paintings slashed, sculptures shattered, my office ransacked, papers everywhere, my computer gone. I stood in the wreckage, numb. The police said it was a robbery, but nothing was missing except the computer. Everything else was just rage. Damien made calls, his voice lethal, promising consequences. But I knew. This wasn't random. Someone was sending a message. Emma. The next morning, a woman showed up at the penthouse. Mid-20s, designer clothes, cold beauty that reminded me uncomfortably of Victoria. "I'm Emma Cross," she said, extending a manicured hand. "Damien's sister." I stared. He doesn't have a sister. Half-sister. Same father, different mother. We're not close. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "May I come in?" I stepped aside. Emma moved through the penthouse like she'd been there before, taking in every detail with calculating precision. "Beautiful space," she said. "Very Damien. Cold, controlled, expensive. What do you want?" She turned, studying me. "To warn you." "About what?" "About my brother. Damien collects broken things, broken companies, broken people. He fixes them, controls them, and then discards them when they're no longer useful." She moved closer. "You're his latest project, Isla. Don't mistake that for love. You don't know anything about us. I know Damien. I know what Victoria did to him, and I know he married you 6 weeks after meeting you, which means this is about his inheritance, not romance." She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo. "This was taken 3 days before your wedding." The photo showed Damien at a restaurant with a woman, blonde, beautiful, sitting close. My stomach dropped. "Who is she?" "Sabrina Merchant, old friend, frequent companion." Emma's smile was pitying. "He was with her the night before he proposed to you." I couldn't breathe. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because Marcus is my cousin too, and unlike Damien, Marcus actually cares about the family legacy. Damien just wants to win." She headed for the door, paused. "Think about it, Isla. You signed a contract with a man you barely knew. You gave him 3 years of your life. For what? Money? Security? She looked back. Was it worth your soul? The door closed behind her. I stood there, staring at the photo as my world tilted. When Damien came home that night, I was waiting. Who's Sabrina Merchant? He froze. Where did you hear that name? Your sister paid me a visit. Emma? His jaw clenched. What did she say? That you were with Sabrina 3 days before our wedding. Is it true? Silence. Damien, is it true? Yes, he set down his briefcase, but not in the way you think. Then explain. He moved to the bar, poured whiskey, drank, poured another. Sabrina and I have a history. We dated, casually. After Victoria, I didn't do relationships. Sabrina understood that. We'd see each other occasionally, no strings. Did you sleep with her 3 days before marrying me? No, he turned, eyes fierce. No, I didn't. I took her to dinner to tell her I was getting married, to end things properly. That's all. Why didn't you tell me? Because it was before us, before any of this became real. It was always real, Damien. From the moment I signed that contract, I was your wife. In name only. Is that how you saw me? As a name on paper? He closed the distance between us. You know that's not true. Do I? Because right now, I don't know anything. Your sister shows up, tells me you collect broken things, shows me photos that look like betrayal. Emma is working with Marcus. His voice was sharp. She's trying to sabotage us, to prove the marriage is fake, so Marcus can challenge the will. Is she wrong? The question hung between us like a blade. 6 weeks ago? No, Damien said quietly. 6 weeks ago, this was exactly what she said, a business arrangement. But now? He cupped my face, desperate. Now you're the first thing I think about when I wake up, the reason I come home early, the only person who's ever made me want to be better than I am. Pretty words. True words. He kissed my forehead. I'm falling in love with you, Isla. Terribly, completely, and I don't know how to prove it except to keep showing up every day and hoping you believe me. I wanted to believe him, but Emma's words echoed. Don't mistake that for love. Question for you. When someone warns you about the person you're falling in love with, do you listen or do you trust your heart? Drop your answer below, because Isla's choice here will haunt her. The Gala from Hell. 2 weeks later, we attended the Metropolitan Museum Gala. It was the event of the season. Everyone who was anyone, draped in couture and dripping with diamonds. Damien had commissioned a custom gown for me, midnight blue silk that hugged every curve, with a slit that went to mid-thigh. When I came downstairs, he stopped mid-sentence on his phone call. His eyes went dark. I'll call you back. He ended the call, not looking away from me. You're stunning. It's the dress.
It's you. His hand settled on my bare back. Though I may have to fight off every man in New York tonight. Jealous, Mr. Cross? Possessive, Mrs. Cross. He leaned in, lips brushing my ear. There's a difference. Heat flooded through me. We should go, I whispered. We should, but he didn't move. Or we could stay here. Let me peel that dress off you, slowly. My breath caught. Damien, I know, duty calls. He pulled back, but his eyes promised later. Come on, wife, let's go make them jealous. The gala was magnificent. Soaring ceilings, priceless art, champagne flowing like water. We mingled, played our roles perfectly. Damien's hand never left my back, his touch possessive, grounding. Then I saw her across the room, Victoria, in blood-red silk, watching us like a predator watching prey. "She's here," I whispered. Damien followed my gaze. His entire body went rigid. "Stay close to me," he said. But Victoria was already moving towards us, Marcus beside her. Marcus was handsome in a cruel way, sharp features, cold blue eyes, a smile that never looked genuine. He'd inherited the family's ambition, but none of their charm. "Cousin," Marcus said, extending his hand. "Lovely to see you." Damien didn't shake. "Marcus, Victoria, I'd say it's a pleasure, but we both know better." "Still better?" Victoria's smile was poison. "It's been 4 years, darling. Time to move on." "I have." Damien pulled me closer. "This is my wife, Isla." Victoria's eyes raked over me, dismissive. "Yes, the gallery girl. How quaint." "Careful." Damien's voice went lethal. "That's my wife you're insulting." "Oh, please." Victoria sipped her champagne. "We all know what this is. A business arrangement to secure your inheritance. Marcus told me everything." "Marcus doesn't know anything." "Doesn't he?" Marcus stepped forward. "I know you married a stranger 6 weeks before your 35th birthday. I know you've kept separate bedrooms, at least officially. I know this whole thing is a fraud." "You know nothing," I said, surprising myself. Marcus turned to me, amused. "Oh, then tell me, Mrs. Cross, do you love my cousin?" The question stopped me cold, because the truth was complicated, messy, still unfolding. She doesn't have to answer to you," Damien cut in. "That's what I thought." Marcus smiled. "A real wife would have no hesitation, but you're not a real wife, are you? You're an employee, a very well-paid actress playing a part." "That's enough," Damien growled. "Is it? Because in 6 weeks I'm filing a formal challenge to your inheritance. I'll prove this marriage is fraudulent, and when I do, everything you've built will be mine." Marcus leaned in. "You should have been more careful, cousin. Desperate people make sloppy mistakes." He walked away, with Victoria on his arm, her laughter echoing. I stood there, shaking. He's right, isn't he?" I turned to Damien. "If I can't even answer a simple question, this is exactly what they want, to make you doubt us. Maybe I should doubt us. Maybe this is all moving too fast and I'm confusing gratitude with love and... Is that what you think this is? Gratitude? I don't know what this is." People were starting to stare. Damien grabbed my hand. "Come with me." He pulled me through the crowd, down a hallway, into a private gallery. The door closed behind us. Silence. "Do you want to know what this is?" He backed me against the wall, his body caging mine. "This is me unable to focus in meetings because I'm wondering what you're doing. This is me canceling trips to Singapore because I can't stand being away from you for 4 days. This is me lying awake at night, listening to you breathe, terrified this will end. Damien, I love you." The words came out rough, desperate. "I am in love with you, and it scares the hell out of me, but I'm done pretending otherwise." My heart stopped. "You love me?" "Yes. I love the way you reorganize my books, the way you paint when you think no one's watching, the way you look at me like I'm not broken. I love you, Isla, completely, recklessly." Tears spilled down my cheeks. "Say something," he whispered. "I love you too." His breath shuddered out. Then he kissed me, deep and claiming and full of everything we'd been too afraid to say. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. "We should go back," I whispered. "Or," he said, his hands sliding up my thighs,
We could leave, go home. Let me show you exactly how much I love you. Heat pooled in my stomach. That's a terrible idea. The best ones usually are. We left through a side exit, his hand in mine, both of us laughing like teenagers sneaking out. And for one perfect night, we forgot about Marcus, Victoria, contracts, and consequences. We were just us. First time. We barely made it through the front door. Damien pressed me against the wall, his mouth on mine, hands everywhere. I fumbled with his tie, his shirt, desperate to feel skin. "Bedroom," I gasped. Too far. He lifted me, my legs wrapping around his waist. We stumbled to the couch, a tangle of silk and expensive fabric and need. "Isla," my name was a prayer on his lips. "Tell me you want this. I want this. I want you." Thank God. His hands found the zipper of my dress. The silk pooled at my waist. He pulled back, just looking at me. "You're so beautiful," he whispered. "So damn beautiful." I reached for him, pulling him down. We undressed slowly, between kisses, learning each other. Every scar, every sensitive spot, every sound we could pull from one another. When he finally moved over me, his eyes met mine. "I love you," he said. "I love you too." We came together slowly, a claiming, a promise, a revelation, and it was perfect. Afterward, we lay tangled on the couch, his fingers tracing patterns on my bare back. "Stay with me," he murmured. "Not because of the contract, not because of the money. Stay because you want to." "I want to." He kissed my hair. 3 years suddenly feels too short. "Then let's make it forever." "Forever," he repeated, like he was testing the word. Then, I like the sound of that. If you're feeling that glow, that moment when everything clicks, leave a heart, because this is where everything gets dangerous. Raphael. The complications started with a phone call. I was at the gallery, finally reopening after the repairs, when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Isla Monroe? Who's asking?" "My name is Raphael Cordova. I was a friend of your father's." My blood went cold. "I have nothing to say to any of my father's friends. Please, don't hang up. I'm not calling about the money. I'm calling because you're in danger." I froze. "What kind of danger?" "The kind that involves Damien Cross, the kind that could destroy you both. I need to meet with you, somewhere public, 30 minutes. "I'm not." "Isla, your father didn't just owe money to random creditors. He owed it to people connected to Cross Industries. And the debt you think Damien bought, he didn't buy it. He created it." The phone slipped in my hand. "What do you mean?" 30 minutes, the cafe on 5th and 43rd. Come alone." He hung up. I stood there, mind racing. I should call Damien, tell him everything. But something stopped me. He created it. What did that mean? I went to the cafe. Raphael was mid-40s, handsome in a weathered way, with dark eyes that had seen too much. He stood when I approached, gestured to the seat across from him. "Thank you for coming. You have 10 minutes." He smiled sadly. "Your father was a good man who made bad choices. I tried to warn him about Cross, but he didn't listen." "What does Damien have to do with this?" "Everything." Raphael pulled out a folder. 5 years ago, your father's company was thriving. Then Damien Cross took an interest. He wanted to acquire it, add it to his empire. Your father refused."
So Damien destroyed him systematically. He bought out your father's investors, leaked damaging information to the press, sabotaged deals. Within 18 months, your father was drowning in debt. Raphael opened the folder, showed me documents. These are the loan papers your father signed. Look at the signature of the lending officer. I looked. My heart stopped. The signature was illegible, but the company name was clear. Cordova Holdings, a subsidiary of Cross Industries. Damien's company loaned my father money? Damien orchestrated the entire thing. He drove your father into debt, then offered him a lifeline at 20% interest. Your father had no choice. He took the money. Raphael's expression was grim. And when he couldn't pay, Damien bought the debt and waited. Waited for what? For you to become valuable. He'd seen you at that charity gala, Isla. He knew you were talented, beautiful, desperate. So he waited until you had nowhere else to turn, then offered you a deal. I couldn't breathe. You're lying. I wish I were. He pushed the folder toward me. It's all here. Paper trails, emails, proof that Damien Cross spent 3 years systematically destroying your family so he could own you. But why? Why go through all that trouble? Raphael hesitated. Because of Victoria. What does she have to do with this? After Victoria left him, Damien became obsessed with control. He doesn't just want things, he wants to own them completely. You weren't a random choice, Isla. You were a target. And everything that's happened, the debt, the proposal, even the falling in love, it's all part of his design. I stood, shaking. I don't believe you. Then ask him. Ask Damien about Cordova Holdings. Ask him about the investment he made in your father's company 5 years ago. Ask him why he has a file on you that dates back 3 years. I've seen that file. Have you seen all of it, or just the pages he wanted you to see? I grabbed the folder, my hands shaking. Why are you telling me this? Because your father was my friend, and because no one deserves to be someone's chess piece. His expression softened. I'm sorry, Isla. I truly am. He left. I sat there, staring at the documents as my world shattered. I confronted Damien that night. He was in his office, on a call with Tokyo. When he saw me, he smiled. That real smile, the one I'd earned. Then he saw my face. I'll call you back. He hung up, stood. What's wrong? I threw the folder on his desk. Tell me about Cordova Holdings. He went still. Who gave you that? Is it true? My voice shook. Did you destroy my father? Silence. Damien, did you destroy my father? It's not that simple. It's a yes or no question. Yes. The word exploded out of him. Yes, I went after his company. Yes, I bought his debt. Yes, I engineered the circumstances that brought you to me. The admission hit like a physical blow. Why? He ran his hands through his hair, pacing. Because I was angry, because Victoria had just destroyed me, and I wanted to destroy something back. Your father's company was vulnerable, and I took it. And me? Was I just collateral damage? No, you were... He stopped. You were supposed to be a solution, a means to an end, someone I could control. You used me. In the beginning, yes, but everything changed. Don't, I stepped back. Don't you dare say you fell in love with me, because if this was all engineered, if you planned every single moment, then none of it was real. That's not true, isn't it? The debt, the proposal, the contract, you controlled everything. Even this, I gestured between us, even us. How do I know falling in love wasn't part of your plan too? Because I didn't plan on this. His voice broke. I didn't plan on you being funny or kind or so damn stubborn. I didn't plan on you seeing through me. I didn't plan on falling in love with you so hard it terrifies me every single day.
Tears streamed down my face. I don't know what's real anymore. This is real. He grabbed my hand, pressed it to his chest. What I feel for you, that's real. How can I believe anything you say? Because I'm telling you the truth. All of it. Yes, I destroyed your father. Yes, I manipulated the circumstances. But what happened after, what's happening now, that's not manipulation. That's love. I pulled away. I need time. Isla, please. You took everything from me. My choice, my family, my ability to trust my own judgment. I looked at him, this man I loved, this man who destroyed me. I need time to figure out if we're real or if I'm just another acquisition. How much time? I don't know. I walked to the door. Isla, his voice stopped me. I love you. Whatever you decide, that won't change. I didn't turn around. I hope that's true. I left. I moved into a hotel that night. For 5 days, he called. I didn't answer. He sent flowers, letters, a message that simply said, I'm sorry, come home. But home didn't exist anymore because home was built on lies. The accident. On the 6th day, his assistant called. Mrs. Cross, you need to come to the hospital. My blood went cold. What happened? There was an accident. Mr. Cross was driving to your hotel. I didn't hear the rest. I just ran. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and fear. Damien was in surgery. Car accident. He'd swerved to avoid a collision, hit a barrier at 70 miles per hour. Broken ribs, punctured lung, internal bleeding, critical condition. I sat in the waiting room, numb. Emma found me there. Isla, she sat beside me, surprisingly gentle. I'm sorry. You warned me about him. You were right. No, I wasn't. I was angry, jealous. Marcus promised me money if I helped him break you two up, and I took it. But I was wrong. Why? Because I've never seen Damien like this. The way he looks at you, like you're air and he's drowning, that's not manipulation. That's love. Tears filled her eyes. He called me yesterday, told me everything about your father, the debt, the guilt. He's been trying to figure out how to make it right. How can he make it right? I don't know, but he's my brother, and despite everything, he's a good man who made terrible choices. He doesn't deserve to die alone. A doctor appeared. Mrs. Cross, your husband is out of surgery. It was touch and go, but he's stable. You can see him now. He looked so small in the hospital bed. Damien Cross, who dominated every room he entered, reduced to pale skin and machines and bandages. I sat beside him, took his hand. You idiot, you stupid, beautiful idiot. His eyes fluttered open. Isla, his voice was rough, broken. I'm here. Tears slid down his temples. I'm sorry for everything. Your father, the debt, the lies. I'm so sorry. I know. I was coming to tell you, he coughed, wincing. I transferred everything, your father's company, the debt, all of it. Put it in your name. You're free. I stared. What? I can't take back what I did, but I can give you back your choice. You can walk away, no strings. The divorce, the money, everything in the contract, it's yours. I won't fight you. Why would you do that? Because I love you. His eyes met mine, raw, honest, terrified. And love isn't about owning someone. It's about setting them free. My heart cracked open. You're really letting me go? If that's what you want, I need you to know. Everything I said, everything I felt, that was real. You were real. We were real. I looked at this broken man who'd broken me, and I made a choice. Tell me, if someone gave you everything, would you stay or would you leave? Comment below, because what happens next changes everything. I don't want to be free, I whispered.
His eyes widened. I want to be yours, and I want you to be mine. Not because of a contract, not because of debt or manipulation or fear. I leaned forward, careful of his injuries. Because I choose you. Every broken, damaged, manipulative part of you. I choose you. Isla, let me finish. Tears spilled over. What you did was unforgivable. You destroyed my father. You manipulated me. You took away my choice. And I'm going to be angry about that for a long time. He nodded, pain in his eyes. But, I continued, I also know you. I know the man who plays piano at 2 a.m. when he can't sleep, who remembers how I take my coffee, who looks at me like I'm the only thing in the world worth seeing. That man, I love him, completely, recklessly. You shouldn't. I know, but I do, and I'm choosing to believe that people can change, that love can heal, that we can be better together than we were apart. He pulled me down, kissed me, soft and desperate and full of promise. I don't deserve you, he whispered against my lips. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway. He laughed, then winced. Don't make me laugh, it hurts. Then stop almost dying. Deal. He threaded his fingers through mine. Stay with me? Always. Recovery. The next 3 weeks were strange. Damien came home from the hospital to a penthouse that felt different, softer, warmer, more like a home than a fortress. I moved back in, not into my old bedroom, into his. I helped him recover, brought him medications, read to him when he was too tired to work, bullied him into resting when he tried to answer emails. You're worse than my doctors, he grumbled one afternoon. Your doctors aren't in love with you. He pulled me down beside him. Thank God for that. We talked about everything. His childhood, cold, controlled, emotionally barren. His father's impossible standards. The way Victoria confirmed every fear he'd ever had about being unlovable. I told him about my father, the brilliant, flawed man who'd loved me desperately, but made catastrophic choices, about watching him fall apart after the company collapsed, about the guilt I carried. It wasn't your fault, Damien said softly. Wasn't it? If I'd been paying attention. You were 22. You were supposed to be living your life, not managing his mistakes. Like you were supposed to be 34 and not destroying companies out of spite? He smiled ruefully. Touché. We were both broken, but maybe broken people could heal each other. Marcus's move. 4 weeks after the accident, Marcus filed his challenge. The lawsuit claimed our marriage was fraudulent, a business arrangement designed to circumvent the will's requirements. He had evidence, the contract, witness testimonies from staff about our separate bedrooms, financial records showing the debt purchase. He was threatening to take everything. Let him try, Damien said, reading the papers. We were in his office, him behind the desk, me curled in the chair across from him. He'd been back at work for a week, still moving carefully, but getting stronger. What if he wins? He won't. But if he does, then we still have each other. That's enough. I stared at him. When did you become an optimist? When I almost died and realized none of this matters without you. He stood, came around the desk. The company, the money, the inheritance, it's all just noise. You're the only thing that matters. He kissed me, slow and sweet. We should go public, I said. He pulled back. What?
With the truth, all of it, the contract, the debt, everything. Take away Marcus's leverage. Isla, that would destroy our reputation. Or it would humanize us, show people that love can come from the most unexpected places. I stood, took his hands. We're not the first people to marry for practical reasons and fall in love. We won't be the last. But if we hide, if we let Marcus control the narrative, he wins. Damien studied me. You're sure? I'm sure. Then let's go to war. The press conference. We held it 2 days later. Damien insisted on standing, despite his injuries. I stood beside him, our hands linked. The press room was packed. Reporters, cameras, curiosity. Damien spoke first. 2 years ago, I made a choice born out of pain and ego. I destroyed a man's company because I was angry with the world. That man was Isla's father. He paused, letting the words sink in. Then I bought his debt and used it to manipulate Isla into marrying me. It was calculated, it was cruel, it was unforgivable. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. But something I didn't calculate was falling in love with Isla. His voice softened. Isla saw past my walls. She challenged me. She made me want to be better. And somewhere between the contract and now, our marriage stopped being a business arrangement and became the most real thing in my life. He looked at me. I can't take back what I did, but I can spend the rest of my life trying to deserve her. He pulled back. My turn. When I signed that contract, I was desperate. I needed money to save my mother and escape debt I couldn't pay. Damien offered me a solution, and I took it. Was it romantic? No. Was it complicated? Absolutely. I squeezed his hand. But love isn't always simple. Sometimes it's messy and imperfect and born from the worst circumstances. What matters is what we choose to do with it, and I choose him every single day, not because of money or security or fear, because he's my person. I turned to the cameras. So if you're asking whether our marriage started as a business arrangement, yes, it did, but it's not a business arrangement anymore. It's a love story. Complicated, messy, real. The room erupted in questions. We answered them all. The hearing. Marcus's challenge went to court 3 weeks later. The courtroom was packed. Family, lawyers, press. Marcus's attorney was brutal. He presented the contract, financial records, testimonies from household staff who'd seen our separate bedrooms, heard our arguments. He painted us as con artists gaming the system. Then it was our turn. Our attorney called witness after witness. Emma, who testified about watching us fall in love, Damien's business partner, who talked about how Damien had changed, softer, happier. My mother, who'd flown in despite her treatment, who told the court about Damien visiting her in the hospital, holding her hand, promising to take care of me. That's not a man playing a part, she said. That's a man in love. Finally, they called us. Damien went first. Did you marry Isla to satisfy your grandfather's will? Initially, yes. And do you love her? More than anything. How do we know that's real? Because I gave her the power to destroy me, and she chose to save me instead. Because she's seen the worst parts of me and stayed anyway. Because when I'm almost dying, her face was the first thing I saw, and I knew, if I had her, I had everything. Then it was my turn. Mrs. Cross, why did you marry Damien? Because I was desperate and out of options. And why do you stay? I looked at Damien, this complicated, broken, beautiful man. Because desperation brought me to him, but love made me stay. Because he challenges me, protects me, sees me. Because when I'm with him, I'm home. The judge called for a recess. We waited. 3 hours later, the judge returned. This court has reviewed the evidence. While it's clear the marriage began as a contractual arrangement, it's equally clear that genuine affection and commitment have developed. The plaintiff has failed to prove fraud or misrepresentation. Marcus's face went red. The challenge is denied. The marriage stands. Mr. Cross retains control of his inheritance. The gavel came down. We'd won. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. "How do you feel?" one shouted. Damien pulled me close, kissed me in front of everyone, deep and claiming and utterly real. When we broke apart, he looked at the cameras. "I feel like the luckiest man alive." We left hand in hand, Marcus's fury echoing behind us. In the car, Damien turned to me. "Thank you." "For what?" "For saving me, for choosing me, for teaching me that love is worth the risk." I kissed him. "Thank you for letting me."
6 months later, we renewed our vows on a private beach in the Caribbean. Just us. No contracts, no guests, no cameras. Just two people who'd found their way to forever through the darkness. I wore a simple white dress. He wore linen pants and a smile that reached his eyes. The officiant was a local priest who didn't know who we were, didn't care about our money. "Do you, Damien, take Isla as your wife?" "I do. For real this time. Forever." "And do you, Isla, take Damien as your husband?" I looked at this man who destroyed me and saved me in equal measure. "I do. Always." We exchanged new rings, simple gold bands engraved inside, broken together, whole forever. When we kissed, waves crashed behind us and the sun painted everything gold. "I love you," he whispered against my lips. "I love you too." We walked down the beach, hand in hand, the water kissing our feet. 3 years seemed like forever when we started, I said. "And now? Now it doesn't feel like nearly enough." He stopped, pulled me close. "Then how about 50? Make it 60 and you've got a deal." He laughed, the real laugh, the one I'd earned. "You drive a hard bargain, Mrs. Cross." "You should know that by now, Mr. Cross." He kissed me again and I tasted salt and sunshine and forever. Epilogue, 1 year later. "Damien?" He looked up from his laptop, glasses perched on his nose, looking impossibly handsome and domestic. We were in our home now, not the penthouse, but a brownstone in Brooklyn we'd renovated together. Smaller, warmer, ours. I held out the test. 2 pink lines. His eyes widened, the laptop clattered to the floor. "You're pregnant." He crossed the room in 3 strides, lifting me, spinning me, laughing against my neck. "We're having a baby." "We are." He set me down gently, cupped my face. "I love you," he whispered, voice thick with emotion. "Both of you." "We love you too." He dropped to his knees, pressed his forehead against my still flat stomach. "Hi, little one. I'm your dad. I'm going to make so many mistakes, but I promise I'll love you and your mother with everything I have. You're already the best thing I never knew I needed." Tears streamed down my face. This man, this broken, beautiful, impossibly complicated man. He looked up at me, eyes shining. "Thank you." "For what?" "For giving me a family, for giving me forever, for giving me everything." I pulled him to his feet, kissed him. "Thank you for being worth it." Later that night, we lay in bed, his hand on my stomach, both of us staring at the ceiling. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "That night you signed the contract?" I thought about it, about the desperation, the fear, the impossible choice, about everything that came after. Not even for a second. He turned to me, smiled. Me neither. Even though I reorganize your books by color, even though you reorganize my books by color, even though I sing badly in the shower, especially because you sing badly in the shower. I laughed, curled into him. I love you, Damien Cross. I love you too, Isla Cross. And as I drifted off to sleep in his arms, I thought about that white envelope that had changed everything. Final notice, 30 days. 30 days had become forever, and forever had become home. This is where our story ends, but if it touched you, if you felt every moment, if you believed in second chances and messy love and finding home in unexpected places, tell me in one word what you're feeling right now. And if you want more stories like this, stories that make you believe in love, even when it's complicated, even when it's born from darkness, subscribe because Isla and Damien's story might be over, but there are so many more waiting to be told. Drop your word below. Let me know you were here. Let me know you felt it too. Until next time, choose love, even when it's messy, especially when it's real.